everyone, today I'm going to share with you some of my favorite art supplies. This is the school caddy I got at the dollar store. I like that it has compartments so I can separate dirty with clean water. I keep all my watercolor palettes in this toolbox. I'm mostly using pan watercolors as I like to see all the colors laid out and sorted. These are my main working palettes. I sort some of them by color tones like warms, blues, grays. I particularly like to use Schmincke Horadam watercolors, which uses artist-grade pigments that are very vibrant and saturated. So you can see just a little bit of water can go a long way. This is the 48 color set. I also use an assortment of tube watercolors. I really love Daniel Smith watercolors for its unique pigments featuring minerals or iridescent colors. These are my most used colors. The electric blue is so vivid and bright, and the French ochre has a really nice translucent layering effect. I also use Holbein watercolors. They have a great range of essential colors and warm tones, which I use a lot in my work. I have a few tubes of Sennelier watercolors, which is made with honey too. This is an interesting set I picked up in Tokyo. I don't like to use pure black as I'm always trying to give more dimension to dark areas, so having a slight tint helps to create more depth and visual interest. Now, in terms of gouache, I use a few different brands. There's Holbein, Nicker gouache, Turner Design gouache, and Winsor & Newton gouache. I also love using these Stay Wet palettes. There's a sponge underneath and special paper that slowly transfers moisture back up to the paints. A problem I have encountered with some gouache is separation. The gum arabic, which is the binder for the pigments, float to the top. This causes a very runny consistency and streaks when I paint, but you can combat this by using a toothpick and stirring before use. Gouache should look consistent and thick like this out of the tube. I find Holbein has the best consistency. It's helpful to paint a color swatch on each tube using a simple sticker. This is because gouache tends to dry a little different than when applied. Sometimes the label color is not totally accurate too. I like to use a painting rag over paper towels or tissues. It's handier to have and more sustainable. It's a good idea to keep some scraps for color tests too. In the past, I used to brush off eraser dust or lead bits with just my bare hands, which caused my marks to smudge. This big one is handy for general dust cleaning as well. The smaller one is from Muji. I think it might be a shoe polish brush, but it has a nice grip and stiffness for brushing lead bits from pencil crayons. These are Derwent Color Soft pencil crayons. They have very soft buttery colors, so it's really nice to create some integrated blending effects. These are my essential pencil crayons I use for outlining. I have tried many other brands, but it seems only the Japanese brands Tombow and Mitsubishi does the job for me. I want a very sharp tip and minimal smudging when I outline. I'm constantly sharpening, so these pencil caps come in very handy to enable me to use every little bit that I can. I like to store my outlining pencils in a shallow Muji tray. The rest are on a repurposed CD rack. Sometimes I use black fine liners. I know some brands have issues with the nib wearing down and ink skipping, but these two brands have been pretty great for me and affordable too. Finally, I recommend using a clear ruler with grids. It's much easier to make 90-degree alignments on the paper. This marker rack is actually a repurposed shoe rack turned sideways with an additional top and bottom added. I've had Copics for many years now. It was the first medium I started using for my illustrations, but I transitioned to watercolors later. These past few months, I'm returning to using them, especially for my human characters. I get the Copic Chows, the smaller ones, and refill them with the different inks. This is my favorite white gel pen. It's the most opaque one out of all the others I've tried so far. I recommend getting the broad version. This pencil is amazing. Somehow it feels different from the other pencils. It's so comfortable to sketch with, easy to erase, and very smooth gliding feeling. This is a cheaper alternative that I got at Daiso. I like to use a kneaded eraser for gentle cleaning and harder erasers for more stubborn marks. Silver Black Velvet is my workhorse brush. It's a synthetic squirrel blend brush, very high quality, holds a sharp point still after a few years of use. Though it's a little bit more expensive, I think it's worth the investment. I was very happy to discover these affordable and great quality brushes. These are synthetic sable brushes by Pentel. They have stiffer bristles, which is perfect for thicker mediums like gouache. I have the rounds set. Arches paper has never let me down. The pure cotton paper really makes a difference to how the pigments react. It's able to produce a more vibrant color and seamless blends. I also buy in bulk large sheets of Fabriano Artistico paper for less intensive illustrations. I have an assortment of other papers too. A tip is to store them in a zipper bag as protection against humidity. These are more affordable option papers. The Strathmore one is still 100% cotton. This one is more of a student grade watercolor paper. You can use it as test paper or mixed media. Time tracking is an important component of my work as an illustrator for scheduling and costing. If you're working for print production, then having a guide for RGB CMYK conversion is really helpful to serve as a starting approximation. Here's my hardware setup. I have a Wacom Cintiq Pro 16, a MacBook Pro, and under that is a LED light tracing table. And then finally, I have my Epson Perfection scanner. These adjustable monitor arms are a great help for maintaining good posture. I back up with 2 separate external hard drives, just to be safe. This gadget is a shortcut device for a range of software like Photoshop, video editing. I can scroll to zoom or change the brush size. It really speeds up my digital workflow. Lastly, I use Procreate on my iPad. I love the control of the Apple Pencil and the textures available. Thanks so much for watching. I would love to hear about your favorite supplies too. Please let me know your recommendations. Bye, see you next time!